disclosed that Tesla CEO has tweeted a few questionable items, and one is bringing about a lawsuit from the Securities and Exchange Commission. USA Today: Elon Musk's role as CEO and chairman of Tesla is suddenly on the line. The Securities and Exchange Commission says the Tesla boss needs to go after he publicly declared last month that he had funding secured to take the electric vehicle company private despite not having a deal lined up. The agency sued Musk on Thursday, asking a federal judge to impose fines and force Musk's removal, not just from Tesla but from leadership or board membership of any publicly traded company. Musk defended himself, saying, "Integrity is the most important value in my life and the facts will show I never compromised this in any way." The SEC case against Musk was assigned to U.S. District Court Judge Allison Nathan, who has scheduled an initial pretrial hearing for February 1. In a court filing on Friday, she ordered attorneys for both sides to provide information about the case, including a list of all previous settlement discussions and a description of any legal discovery the parties have already exchanged. Can Musk survive this storm and remain in his leadership role? Here are 5 key factors to watch. 1. Will tolerance for risk prevent Musk from settling? Musk is famously willing to take risks, having poured the wealth he accumulated from co-founding PayPal into Tesla and then repeatedly betting the company on individual products like the Model S ultra-luxury sedan. The Wall Street Journal reported that Musk, at the last second, canceled a settlement with the SEC, prompting the securities fraud charges. "It doesn't strike me that the SEC is ready to go to the mat," said Carl Tobias, a University of Richmond business law professor. But Musk is playing with fire because they can force it. Whether a judge will go along is another matter. Musk has long maintained that he believes the U.S. justice system is extremely fair and almost always gets it right. He articulated this opinion as recently as a podcast interview with comedian Joe Rogan several weeks ago. Is he willing to risk his career on that belief? 2. Were his statements provably false? Musk insisted shortly after making his original statements that Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund had offered to finance the deal. But the SEC said no deal terms existed. If Musk honestly believed that the actual details were insignificant, does that matter? If he could convince a jury that, "Look, I'm an inventor, I'm not a finance guy, I took these discussions to mean this deal was locked up, accept the fine print," maybe they would believe him and he would win, said former SEC enforcement official Alma Angodi, now serving as managing director of risk and compliance at Navigant Consulting. But the SEC can also pursue an alternative route, proving that Musk was outright reckless with his tweets. Another factor, Musk's well-documented dislike of short sellers, who bet against Tesla stock, could qualify as a motive to mislead the market, Angodi said. That makes it harder to argue that it was just a mistake or a little bit of an exaggeration, she said. Point 3. Does the SEC care that his departure would harm investors? Since many Tesla fans love the company because of Musk's leadership, his exit would be widely viewed as a serious blow to the company's future. The SEC, whose mission is to protect investors, may not be able to ignore the fact that Tesla investors could be harmed if it successfully ousts him. It is something they do consider and would consider, Angodi said. But they have to balance that consideration with the possibility that the defendant could do it again. What's more, the Wall Street regulatory agency could argue that it must crack down on Musk for the sake of other companies that follow the rules. The agency could also argue that Tesla investors took a risk by betting on a volatile CEO and must live with the consequences. Point 4. Will the board get fed up? The Tesla board has been supportive of Musk throughout this ordeal and is closely aligned with his vision for the company. The board even includes his brother, Kimball. The board said late Thursday that it is fully confident in Elon, his integrity and his leadership of the company, but the board's ultimate responsibility is to serve Tesla shareholders. The day may come when the board members decides they have a responsibility to oust Musk. There is a role for the board, which has been sitting on sidelines as a mere bystander in everything that's happened so far, to begin to insist that he's got to save the company by doing the mature thing and settling, said John Coffey, a securities law expert and professor at the Columbia University Law School. The SEC may, in fact, be trying to nudge the board to step in, Tobias said. In a way, maybe they're trying to force the board's hand, Tobias said. They have the fiduciary duty. At some point, they need to think through, is he the right person? 5. Is the rest of his business empire a factor? Musk is juggling several other business endeavors at the same time he leads Tesla, including a tunneling venture called The Boring Co., a brain communication firm called Neuralink, and, most notably, rocket ship maker SpaceX. The U.S. government has bet heavily on the future of SpaceX through a series of contracts. Does that matter in the sex case against Tesla? Not from a technical perspective. Plus, Musk would not be barred from leading SpaceX or his other private companies, even if the SEC removes him from Tesla. But if he's barred from leading any publicly traded company, the future of SpaceX could be in doubt. And that might be too much financial destruction for the SEC to live with. Contributing, Kevin McCoy, Chris Woodyard. Follow USA Today reporter Nathan Bomey on Twitter at NathanBomey. Read or share this story, https://usat.ly/2xxnnhz